So I got something that may help you. So this is kind of a trick I use to make kind of like a seamless background in a way for stuff if I shoot like objects, or if I shoot stuff of me or other people, or just random art that I make. I don't really have a fancy studio or anything like that. I kind of just use what I got. Most of the time it's just working with lighting. I usually work out of my living room because it's cheap. So all really you need for this is, of course, your camera, your subject, yourself, or the object you're shooting, some good light sources, and Photoshop. So right now this is my PS4 controller that I took a picture of. This is just a common example. You can do this with objects or people. And I took a picture of the background as well, because that'll be kind of like your blank slate. So now I dragged the background into the controller tab, and basically I labeled it background, and I labeled, of course, the controller. I hit the layer mask button, and then you're just taking that all the way to make it just the controller itself. So basically what I'm doing right now is painting away the USB cord. And by doing that is, when you hit the layer mask button, there is a white layer attached to your layer that you're modifying. And it can be either white or black. When it's white, you paint it black, and when it's black, you paint it white. And now I'm gonna set up my background. And now you see there's a solid blue color for our background. And now I just made an empty new layer, and I'm added a gradient to it. What this gradient is going to do is kind of give it like a shadowy appearance, kind of make it more realistic. But you can't make it completely black and white, so we're going to turn down the opacity for this. Next, we're going to kind of make our own little artificial light in the background. So now I kind of made my background light. What I'm going to do is go to blur, Gaussian blur, and then I'm just going to increase the radius of that right now. I'm then going to manipulate the opacity of this as well to make it kind of a little bit more realistic too. And then now I'm going to paint out the layer that I have right now. With the brush tool, of course, the layer is white again, so we're going to paint with black. And now it's going to get rid of everything I don't need to replace it with this background layer. And it is a very tedious process. I'm pretty sure there's better options out there. I'm just still learning, but I'm gonna kind of speed through this process so you kind of see the end result. Now I'm gonna kind of add some finishing touches or some extra cosmetics as well to kind of make it a little bit more realistic. And again, you can use this for your objects that you're shooting, or yourself, or another person as well if you're not working with a studio. Now I want to add a shadow into the controller, so I'm just gonna hit the layer that I want, hit FX, which is basically your effects layer at the bottom, and then I'm gonna hit drop shadow, and then I'm gonna manipulate the shadow of what feels more comfortable with me, what's more realistic. Finally, I'm gonna just skip to the end where I just have a few more cosmetics I want to do, and that's how you do that.